guys, it's your girl Yem, and today we are forging ahead in the series, Is God Real? Is God Real? But before we do that, make sure you go ahead and like, subscribe, leave a comment in the comment section, and share the video. All right, let's get into it. All right, so we are talking about, is God real? Last time I talked to you about how God revealed himself as creator. And that's pretty awesome. And he has created us in his image and in his likeness, has also given us those same creative abilities. And I just want to make one note about that. You know, when I was younger, I would hear things like, oh, this person is creative, this person is not creative. And so I thought that creativity was held by one subset of people, like there's the creatives out there. As I looked at Genesis 1, I discovered that that's not true. We are all created in his image and in his likeness, and given the fact that he's the very first thing he lets us know about himself is that he's a creator and we're created in his image and likeness, means that we are created. Every single person is creative. I'm creative too. I always consider myself to be like more of an analytical type of person, but I'm creative too. I have wonderful, beautiful creative abilities just like the next person, just like everybody else in the world, because we've all been created in his image. So with that said, I just wanted to talk a little bit about this whole idea of creation. Okay, so we saw in Genesis 1, the first verse says God created the heavens and the earth, right? And then after that, we begin to see just how the earth and the heavens kind of came about, right? We see the steps, we see the process. First, there's like nothingness and darkness, and then from darkness he pulls out light. He has, I'm sure he's looking at the darkness and he's like, I see light. He saw light in his mind, and so as he saw it in his mind, he spoke it out and then pulled it into existence. And from that, after he pulled light out, he separated the light from the darkness. Then then there was water everywhere. Then he had to separate the waters that are above from the waters that are beneath. Then he had to move the waters away and pull the earth forth from the waters. And then he had to, on the earth, he had to bring, vegetation, plants and things like that. And then once he created the plants, then he created the animals, the birds that fly in the air, the fish that swim in the sea, and then the animals that creep on the ground. And then after he does all of that, then he creates us, humans, in his image and in his likeness. He gives us the stamp of God right on us. And that very first stamp, the very first aspect of the stamp, is creativity. And then we see how Adam basically copies God, right? And does those same kind of things. He starts naming things and all that kind of stuff. But what I actually want to kind of focus on here is that creation as a foundation, right? Creation as a foundation. Now, everything that exists in our world today, every product that exists in our world today, it didn't just come about, right? There wasn't like some, explosion and then suddenly we have this pen. That's not how things happen. Explosions don't create products. They don't create finished products, right? They just don't. Like, you don't see that anywhere. Like, oh, okay, let me blow up this house. Let me do a demolition of a house and then suddenly there's a new house. That's not how things work. How they work though, because we see a template in Genesis 1 of how they work. People, when they were creating this pen, somebody thought and said, you know what, I think there's a way that we should be able to write. We should be able to the words that we speak, maybe the thoughts that we think, we should be able to write them out, literally write them on maybe like a piece of paper or something. Let me see how I can do that. And he's like, okay, well, what would be a good material to use to write? And he says, okay, well, ink would be a good thing. Okay, so let's get some ink. And then I'm looking at this pen. Okay, he probably needed a little bit of metal, or she, and then needed a little bit of, there's rubber here, there's plastic, and all kinds of things that had to be gathered to bring forth this finished product of a pen. And that's the same thing that God does. And so the fact that we, many creators, create these kinds of things, following a particular process, is clear evidence to me anyway that God exists, right? Because we do the same thing that he did, because we're created in his image and in his likeness, because we're many creators. We do the same kinds of things. For this phone to come about, it didn't just appear out of thin air. There were steps, there was a process. You saw that as God created the earth and the heavens, there was a process. He didn't just go boom, oh, look at the earth and the heavens. No, that's not how it happened. God, who is God, who has the ability to do that, he put together a template for us to see, because we were going to be doing the same things. We're going to be following the same steps. And to me, that shows evidence that, yeah, the fact that every human being kind of goes through this process. Anytime they want to bring anything, whether it's a blanket or a cup or a phone or a computer or whatever it is, there are certain steps that have to be followed, and they're very similar to the steps that God did in Genesis 1 as he created the whole world. And so to me, that shows that truly we are created in his image, and we basically follow that same format that he does. And so that was really powerful to me, and I think that's hard evidence. That is hard evidence to know that, there's a rhyme and a reason to all that we do. And it's not just because, it's because we have a God who has created this rhyme and this reason. Okay, so thank you so much for tuning in. Thanks for making it all the way to the end of the video. I appreciate it. Once again, drop a comment in the comment section. Let me know what you think. What do you think? Do you have any evidence of anything that exists that was not created, either by God, who created everything, or on a smaller scale, on a smaller level? What product exists that we didn't create? All right, leave a comment in the comment section, share the video, subscribe to the channel, turn on that notification bell, and we'll see you next time. Bye.